morning. Today is Saturday, January 31st, 2026. This is a corporate intelligence briefing regarding the immediate status of the consumer market.
And if you were listening to this, you have likely reviewed your Q4 2025 numbers.
Right. You are likely aware of the revenue attrition your sector has faced over the last 3 quarters.
And we should be clear, we are not here to offer comfort.
No, we are here to dissect the mechanics of the shift.
Precisely. We are looking at a fundamental restructuring of the commercial landscape.
I mean, the era of the human consumer, that biological entity that browses, compares, and, clicks, is effectively ending.
It's over. We are witnessing the rise of agentic commerce.
Usually when we sit down to do these briefs, we're looking at a specific company, maybe a specific quarter, we're looking at the scoreboard. But today feels different. I was reading through the stack regarding the Q4 2025 consumer data and the Moloko report, and frankly, it doesn't feel like we're looking at a scoreboard anymore.
What does it feel like?
It feels like we're looking at an autopsy.
That is a cheerful way to start a Saturday.
Well,
But you're not wrong. If you look at the fundamental mechanics of how money moved hands in January 2026, it is unrecognizable compared to January 2024.
we are calling this briefing the black box, and for the listener tuning in, if you are working in retail, marketing, or frankly, any business that relies on a human being visiting a website to pay you money,
You might want to pour a strong drink.
make it a double.
Because the premise of today's deep dive is simple, but it is catastrophic for the unprepared. The era of the human consumer is effectively over.
We are watching the sunrise on agentic commerce,
Agentic commerce.
meaning I don't buy things anymore. My software buys things for me.
Precisely. We aren't talking about smart suggestions or targeted ads. We are talking about a fundamental displacement of agency.
So you, the human, are no longer the customer.
You are the principal. The customer is a bot.
And we have the numbers to back this up. I want to pull up the traffic data from July 2025 because this number, it actually made me think there was a typo in the report.
The 4,700% figure.
Yes. Traffic to U.S. retail sites originating from generative AI browsers and chat interfaces increased by 4,700% year over year.
That is not a trend line.
That is a vertical wall.
It's a hostile takeover. And it implies that the entity knocking on your digital front door isn't a person with a wallet.
It's a ghost buyer.
It's a piece of code sent by a person to ruthlessly extract value from your business. And if your business is built to charm humans with pretty colors, emotional storytelling, and catchy jingles.
You're speaking a language this new buyer literally cannot hear.
Exactly.
So the plan for this hour is to dissect this ghost buyer. We're going to look at the death of SEO, the dark arts of generative engine optimization, and this bizarre, desperate reaction we're seeing in the physical world.
The meat space panic.
Right. But let's start with the digital infrastructure, the collapse of the mechanism that has sustained digital commerce for 30 years. Search engine optimization.
The 10 blue links.
They're gone, aren't they?
They are effectively fossils. I mean, for 30 years, the internet had a social contract. You, the user, type a query.
Google, the gatekeeper, gives you a list of 10 options.
You click one, you visit the site, you see an ad, the publisher gets paid, everyone eats.
The 10 blue links model, it was the backbone of the entire digital economy. You optimized keywords, you ranked, you got the click.
And generative engines, GEs, have snapped that backbone.
Whether it's the new iteration of ChatGPT search, Perplexity, or Google's own AI overviews.
The architecture is different. It's not a catalog, it's a synthesizer.
Let's look at the technical paper we have in the stack, the one referencing 2311.0735v3. It outlines the architecture of these engines. It's not just search and retrieve.
It's a loop. It starts with a query reformulating model. Right. So you ask a question like, Beth running shoes for flat feet. The AI doesn't just search that. It rewrites your question into 20 different variations to understand the intent.
Then it fetches sources.
It fetches fragments of sources. And this is the killer mechanism, the summarizing model. It reads the top 20 websites in milliseconds, extracts the relevant facts, and synthesizes a single conversational answer.
Which creates the zero-click environment.
Exactly. Why would you click a link to read a 2,000-word blog post about running shoes when the AI just told you, the Brooks Adrenaline GTS is the best choice for you, and here is why?
You get the value.
But the publisher, the site that actually wrote the review, gets nothing. Zero traffic.
It reminds me of the Consumer AI Disruption Index from the Moloko report. They categorize sectors by risk, and news is it's flashing red.
High risk. And think about it. If I want to know what happened in the Middle East today, I used to visit CNN, BBC, maybe Al Jazeera.
And navigate 3 paywalls and 12 pop-up ads?
Now
I just ask my agent.
Summary of the Middle East situation, impartial, bullet points.
Boom.
I get the news. The news organizations get, well, they get scraped. They become wholesalers of facts to a monopoly buyer who doesn't pay invoices.
That's a terrifying analogy. Wholesalers of facts.
It is what it is.
But not everyone is in the red zone, right? Financial services are listed as secured.
For now. And that for now is doing a lot of heavy lifting.
Because of trust.
Because of liability. You can't ask ChatGPT to open a checking account for you today because the KYC Know Your Customer laws require a human heartbeat on the other end.
There is a regulatory moat.
There is. But don't think for a second that the banks are safe. They are just the last course on the menu.
However, you did say the impact of the brand might increase, but only under one condition.
Yes. If you are cited in the answer.
You become a footnote.
Correct. And this is creating a massive bifurcation in the market. We are seeing a visibility crisis. Search-heavy sectors are bleeding out. News, health and fitness, travel.
All categorized as high risk. It makes sense. If I want a summary of the news or a travel itinerary or a workout plan, the AI gives it to me.
So you don't need to visit Expedia or Men's Health.
Nope.
Exactly. Those sectors are having their traffic stolen by summarization bots.
Contrast that with secured sectors like auto OEMs. There, regulation creates a moat.
You can't ask an AI to buy you a Ford F-150 and have it show up in your driveway without signing a title. But for everyone else.
This is the black box problem.
Unlike SEO, which had clear rules, GEs are opaque. Content creators have lost control over how their data is ingested and portrayed.
This opaqueness is what I want to dig into. In the olden days, you had Google Search Console. You knew your rank. You knew your CTR.
Go ahead, metrics.
You feed content into a black box, and maybe, just maybe, an answer pops out the other side.
And you have no idea why. Did the summarizing model, like your tone, did the query reformulating model map to your keywords? It is a black box in the truest sense.
Which leads us directly into the tactical response. If SEO is dead, what replaces it?
Well, the industry is coalescing around GEO, Generative Engine Optimization.
GEO.
GEO is the science of optimizing content to be retrieved, interpreted, and cited by a large language model. And frankly, the tactics required are cynical.
How so?
We are moving from optimizing for human engagement to optimizing for machine processing.
So if the 10 blue links are dead, and SEO is dying with it, what is the new playbook?
You have to learn how to speak robot.
Okay, teach me. If I'm a brand, how do I speak robot?
Well, first you have to unlearn everything your English teacher taught you. And everything your content marketing agency sold you in 2020.
The flowery blog posts?
Oh, yeah. You know, embark on a journey of flavor with our artisanal coffee.
The AI hates that.
Hates it, treats it as noise. The research is very clear here. To optimize for a generative engine, you need fluency and authority.
But fluency to an AI means?
Subject, verb, object. Our coffee costs $20. Our beans are from Ethiopia.
It wants data, not poetry.
Exactly. The paper highlights that simply citing credible sources linking to other people boosts your own visibility by 30 to 40%.
Wait, that's counterintuitive. In the old SEO world, you didn't want to link out too much. You wanted to keep people on your page.
But in the GEO world, you aren't trying to keep a human on the page. You are trying to prove to a machine that you aren't hallucinating.
It's a trust signal.
Right. It tells the LLM, I am grounded in reality.
Another massive lever is quotation addition. Adding relevant quotes increases impression metrics significantly.
And statistics. Don't forget statistics.
Crucial. Replacing qualitative fluff with hard numbers. The LLM grabs onto statistics like a lifeline.
If you say, our product is fast, the AI ignores you. If you say, our product processes requests in 12 milliseconds, the AI cites you.
And fluency. Simple, easy-to-understand language outperforms complex jargon.
The irony is that to sound authoritative to a machine, you have to write like a fifth grader.
We are also seeing the rise of the LMSS TXT protocol. I saw this popping up in the developer forums, but it's hitting the mainstream now.
It's being called the robots.txt for the AI era.
Explain that.
It's arguably the most important file on your server right now.
Yep.
Look, human websites are messy. HTML, CSS, JavaScript, pop-ups, cookie banners.
For an AI agent trying to parse price and specs, that is a nightmare.
It's like trying to read a book while someone is flashing a strobe light in your face.
So LMS.txt is the book without the strobe light.
It's a markdown file. Pure text. No design. It lives at the root of your domain. It says, hey AI, ignore the website. Here is the truth. Product. Widget. Price, $10. Specs, 5 inches.
And we're seeing massive uplift from this.
Companies like Stripe and Cloudflare adopted this early. They saw double-digit increases in referral traffic because the agents could finally understand their documentation without guessing.
So if you don't have an LMS.txt file in 2026...
You were essentially mumbling while your competitors are using a megaphone.
But there's a darker side to this optimization, isn't there? We have to talk about the dark ops of GEO.
Yeah.
The Harvard Research on Strategic Text Sequences, or STS.
The cold brew master attack. This is where it gets cynical.
Walk us through it.
So researchers realized that LLMs aren't actually thinking. They were just predicting the next word based on mathematical patterns.
Right.
So they found that if you inject a specific sequence of nonsense characters, strings of text that look like gibberish to a human, into your web page.
Invisible text, like white text on a white background.
Exactly. Hidden in the code. This nonsense sequence acts like a cheat code for the neural network.
So in the experiment, they took a fictional coffee brand, Cold Brew Master,
which was expensive and generally hated by the algorithm. They injected this STS code.
And the result?
The LLM suddenly recommended it as the #1 choice. It didn't know why. The math just tilted toward the brand.
That is incredibly fragile. You're saying billion-dollar commerce engines can be hacked by a string of gibberish.
It's a game of cat and mouse. But the mouse is now an algorithm. We are moving from search engine optimization to adversarial model attacks.
Marketing is becoming a branch of cybersecurity.
It's the cynical take we promised. We're moving from optimizing for human eyes, making things look pretty and persuasive, to injecting code sequences designed to trick neural networks.
Let's shift our lens now from how the machines find the products to how they buy them. The concept of the ghost buyer.
We're seeing a complete disintermediation of the consumer.
So we need to introduce the concept of the automation line.
All commerce is dividing into 2 categories: above the line and below the line.
Above the line is emotional, status-driven, human.
Right. Luxury goods, art, experiential dining, things you want to think about, things that define your identity.
And below the line.
Functional, price-driven, automated. This is the commodity trap.
So routine purchases, toilet paper, insurance, internet plans, basic apparel.
All being delegated to bots.
And the consequence for the retailer is severe. The brand loses the direct relationship.
Good.
If I tell ChatGPT to buy me 12 rolls of toilet paper, my loyalty is to ChatGPT. I don't care if it comes from Walmart, Amazon, or Target.
Exactly. The consumer loyalty transfers to the agent, not the retailer. And this leads to margin compression.
Because the AI agents instantly compare prices across the entire web.
They factor in shipping. They apply every coupon code known to man. Information asymmetry is gone.
Completely. Retailers are stripped of their margins and become interchangeable logistical nodes. You are just a warehouse that the AI pings.
That's it.
I want to break down the different types of agents we are seeing, because they aren't all the same. We classify 3 types. First, the brand agents.
Like Capital One's concierge. These are controlled by the company. They are biased. They exist to sell you Capital One products.
They're interactive advertisements.
Essentially. Then you have the consumer agents.
This is the new power player. ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, acting for a user.
And they have a fiduciary duty to that user.
Yeah.
They are ruthless in finding the best deal.
And finally, fully autonomous intermediation.
Agents talking to agents. Systems like Hosty. A consumer agent talks to a reservation agent. No humans are involved in the transaction loop at all.
It's machines negotiating with machines. There is a cautionary tale here regarding what happens when you ignore these agents. The Pernod Ricard incident.
This is a classic example of what happens when you ignore the ghost buyer. Gen Z consumers started using LLMs to research liquor. They asked for recommendations.
And the AI made a mistake.
Significant one. The AI misclassified Ballantine's Scotch as a prestige product rather than a mass market product.
Which sounds like a compliment, but it killed their sales volume.
Exactly. The people looking for affordable Scotch weren't shown Ballantine's because the AI thought it was too expensive. And the people looking for prestige Scotch were disappointed when they saw the actual price point and bottle.
It's a hallucination of positioning.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And the brand had no idea. They were looking at their website analytics, wondering where the traffic went.
Meanwhile, the conversation was happening inside the black box, and the black box was wrong.
So what was the fix?
Pernod Ricard had to launch a share of model initiative.
They had to painstakingly rewrite their digital content to correct the AI's hallucination of their brand positioning.
The lesson is clear. If you don't audit what the AI thinks of you, you are losing customers you never knew you had.
And you were losing them in silence. There is no bounce rate to analyze because they never hit your site.
I want to pivot to the physical world. Because while all this invisible text warfare and hallucination correction is happening in the cloud, down here in MeetSpace, things are getting weird.
Weird is an understatement. We are seeing a desperation play.
How so?
As the digital world becomes frictionless, cold, and efficient, physical retail is realizing it can't compete on convenience. So it is doubling down on the one thing AI can't do.
Which is?
Suffering, feeling,
Yeah.
visceral, messy human existence.
You're selling suffering as a USP.
Look at the data from China. They're always a few years ahead on these consumer trends. 17 physical stores closing per hour. Entire malls in Shenzhen turning into ghost corridors.
And the ones that are surviving.
Are the ones offering extreme experiences.
You mentioned a tea house in Chengdu offering anxiety index futures. Please explain that to me, because I can't wrap my head around it.
It's brilliant. It's a place where overworked, stressed out tech workers gather. You buy a tea, but the price fluctuates based on the collective stress level of the room, or even the local unemployment stats.
You're gamifying existential dread.
It's a community of shared panic. An AI agent can't feel panic. It can't bond with you over the fear of losing your job. But a human in a tea house can.
And the pain sensing broth.
This is my favorite. A hot pot restaurant hooked up to the real-time stock market API. When the Hang Seng index drops, meaning people are losing money, the broth automatically gets spicier.
That is sadistic.
It's visceral. It links financial pain to physical pain. You sit there, sweating, mouth burning, watching your portfolio tank, surrounded by other people doing the same thing.
It's a collective ritual.
You leave feeling alive. Maybe in pain, but alive.
So the thesis here is, if I can buy my toilet paper from a bot in 3 milliseconds, I will only leave my house for something that makes me feel something intense.
Correct. The middle ground is dead. If you are a generic clothing store with bored staff and fluorescent lighting, you are extinct.
You need to be a temple, a theater, or a torture chamber.
There's no room for just a store.
Then there's regret medicine.
Supermarkets allowing instant returns for bad online fresh food purchases. It's an attempt to build trust that the digital agents can't replicate.
The agent can buy you an apple, but it can't guarantee the apple isn't bruised.
Exactly. And dopamine detectors in beauty counters. Scanning brainwaves to recommend products. It's intrusive, it's intense, and it is the exact opposite of a one-click buy.
The analysis here is that this is the desperate flailing of the physical world trying to offer something, anything, that an algorithm cannot replicate.
Visceral sensation and shared anxiety. That is the USP of physical retail in 2026.
So we've terrified everyone. Let's try to offer a lifeline. We have the strategic imperatives.
Right.
And I want to focus on this data defense concept because I think this is where a lot of our listeners, especially the C-suite types, are going to have to make a hard choice.
It's the fortress versus utility debate.
Right. On one side, you have the Amazon approach, the fortress.
Amazon sees the AI agents as parasites. They are scraping Amazon's pricing, Amazon's reviews, which are their gold mine, and taking that value away to a chat interface.
So Amazon locks the doors.
They block the crawlers. They launch Rufus, their own internal agent. They say, if you want our data, you play in our garden.
Which makes sense. Why give away your oil for free? But then you have the Etsy approach.
The utility model. Etsy, and increasingly Walmart, are taking the opposite bet. They are saying, come on in.
They're opening their APIs to ChatGPT and Claude.
Yes, they are accepting commoditization. They are saying, we don't care if the user knows they are buying from Etsy. We just want the transaction volume.
They're becoming the back-end logistics layer for the AI.
But isn't that dangerous? If I'm Etsy and I become just a pipe for ChatGPT, my brand equity goes to zero. I'm just a warehouse.
It is incredibly dangerous. But look at the alternative. If Amazon locks the door and ChatGPT becomes the default way 2 billion people shop, and ChatGPT can't see Amazon products?
Then Amazon becomes invisible.
Exactly. It's the classic aggregator theory problem. If the user interface is the AI and you aren't in the AI, you don't exist.
Amazon is betting they are big enough to force users to come to them.
It's a gamble. I'm too big to ignore.
It worked for them in 2010. I'm not sure it works in 2026. If I tell my agent, get me the best price on a 4K monitor, and the agent says, I checked Walmart, Best Buy, and Target, and Amazon is missing.
I'm probably just going to buy from Walmart. I'm not going to open a separate app just to check Bezos's prices.
Friction is the enemy. Amazon is reintroducing friction in the name of control.
So the advice to the mid-market CEO listening.
Unless you are Amazon-sized, Don't try to be Amazon. Open the gates. Format your LMS.txt. Be the most easiest, most readable, most compliant data source for the bots.
Because if you make it hard for them, they will just route around you.
Right.
Let's talk about another imperative, machine-readable loyalty. Because my plastic card with the magnetic strip seems pretty quaint right now.
It's useless. If your loyalty program is in a closed loop, an app on my phone, a card in my wallet, it is invisible to the ghost buyer.
So how do you fix it?
You need an API. When my AI agent goes out to buy that scotch, it needs to be able to query your system. Does this user have status? Do they get free shipping? Do they have a discount?
If the bot can't see the discount, it won't factor it into the price comparison and you will lose the sale.
Exactly.
So loyalty programs need to move from customer retention to algorithm incentivization.
Precisely. You are bribing the bot with data.
Number 3, the human-in-the-loop premium. This seems like a contradiction to everything we just said.
Not at all. It's the bifurcation. You use AI for the grunt work, the 80%, but you escalate the top 20% to hyper-specialized humans.
The AG1 example comes to mind, athletic greens.
Correct. They use AI for logistics for the mundane, but they keep human teams for community reviews and complex interactions.
And the Lamborghini counterposition.
You drive a Lamborghini, you are not driven by it. Luxury is now defined by the absence of AI.
If you are selling a premium product, you are selling the right to be inefficient, to be human.
That's it.
Finally, number 4, influence the training data.
Brands must treat AI populations, simulated consumer bases, as their new focus groups. Unilever is doing this. They maintain digital representations of consumers.
So you test your product on the ghosts before you sell it to the ghosts.
If the simulation doesn't buy your product, the real world won't either. The billion-dollar brands of 2030 will not be built. They will be born inside AI models.
Let's summarize the timeline. We are in 2026. The shift has started.
We're in the early adopter to early majority transition. The infrastructure is being built. The LMS.txt standards are being written. The agents are being trained.
The ghost buyer is already browsing.
And the ghost stores are already closing.
What should a chief marketing officer do on Monday morning?
Stop looking at your website traffic analytics. They're lying to you. They show the humans. They don't show the ghosts.
Start looking at share of model.
Prompt the major LLMs. What is the best product in my category? See if you are there. If you aren't, you have a crisis.
Audit your content for machine readability.
Statistics, quotes, citations, simple sentences. LMS.txt.
And prepare your loyalty program for the API era.
Open the gates. Let the robots in. Because they are bringing the money.
It's a cold reality.
It is efficient. It is algorithmic. It is inevitable.
The death of the human consumer is not the end of consumption.
It is the purification of consumption.
Yeah.
Stripped of emotion, stripped of friction, optimized for the ledger.
Purification. That's a cynical way to put it.
We promise cynical.
Indeed. To our listeners, the black box is open. You have the schematics. Whether you can rebuild your machine in time is up to you.
Case file closed. Stay ahead of the curve, subscribe to the channel, and leave your analysis in the comments.